The Ranger Report, yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go!
This is the Ranger Report Podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Fans First Sports Network Ranger Report podcast, brought to you by Walton's Everything But the Meat, and of course presented by Dallas Sports Nation. I am Ben Dieter. You can find me on Twitter at BDieter75.
CJ Berryman. You can find me at CJB_RR spitting nonsense on Twitter.
All the time. Yes.
Every time.
And of course you can find us.
It's stupid.
You can find us at therangerreport.com, at DallasSportsNation.com, at YouTube /The Ranger Report, Instagram /The Ranger Report, Facebook /The Ranger Report, Twitter /The Ranger Report, Patreon /The Ranger Report. And speaking of that, I'm trying to promote that a little bit. We have ads now thanks to Fans First Sports Network, so we're making a little money off our podcast. But if you want to skip all the ads, you become a $5 a month Patreon. I put the podcast on there, but with no ads. So ad-free version of the podcast on Patreon, plus some extra stuff. I had some conversations we have while we're recording, but not putting on the podcast. I had some extra video stuff, so it's kind of fun. Plus, you get swag from the website, which is good. So y'all need to
SWAG, baby.
SWAG. So y'all join that, and thank you for doing that. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Texas Rangers past week. They went 3-2, and CJ, I just mentioned this to you off the air. They averaged over 10 runs a game in those 3 wins. Yeah,
and the last 2, forcing the Angels to have to throw a position player out there to close out the game, and that's fun, and it's nice to. We had so many struggling seasons offensively. When Rangers haven't been good for a while, so it's nice to see, and it really hasn't been seen since the mid 2000. I don't even know how you say that. Mid 2010s. Yeah,
mid 2000s. I remember 6, 7, 8, 9. They were scoring a lot of runs, but they were also giving up
bad pitching. But and then obviously the World Series runs and that era. They put a lot of runs baseball, that era too. They put up a lot of runs there, and we haven't seen it now. Something to say about this year's team for sure is they're so much more patient. I mean, they grind on starting pitching. They grind on them. And I think, and you saw it today, really, the growth of Adolis Garcia. Yeah. And really throughout the series, because coming into today, he had only had 1 hit, but he was still being patient and drawing walks. Yep. And today, he walks the first 2 at bats. And then you see what happens. They're like, okay, we got to pitch to him. Well, he goes 3 for 4 with, homer and a double, 2 and 3 RBIs, which he's now what, Ben?
He is the MLB leader in RBIs.
Yes, and so you're seeing that pay off. Last year, man, there's some pitches you're watching. I mean, just if you're watching the game, you're like, last year he swings at that. Yeah. Last year that's a strikeout. Last year he chases that high ball. Last year he chases that low and away or low in the zone. After getting, a couple high fastballs and fouling them off, that's not what he's doing anymore. And you're seeing it throughout the lineup. And speaking of, working the count, this surprised me. Guess who is seeing the least amount of pitches in the order?
Since it surprises you, I'm guessing Marcus Semien.
That would be it. Their leadoff hitter actually sees the least amount of pitches. So that's a strange stat, but hey, it's working for Semien, and it's been working for him a lot lately. I mean, he starts the grind, and he might go out there and swing at the second pitch. He's averaging, I think it was a little less than 3.5 pitches seen per at bat, and so
kind of like to go back to the Shin-Soo Choo days. When he saw a lot of pitches, but when he didn't, it was usually he put the ball in play. Like usually if he swung on the first pitch, it was a home run or a double. He saw something he knew he could drive. And I sort of think that's how Semien is, because he hits the ball hard when he swings early in the count.
Yeah, it seems like he hits the ball hard most of the time.
That's true, actually.
Right now, if it's an out, it's going somewhere hard usually.
Good Lord, not like Jonah Heim today, though. That hit in the 7th or 8th inning that got to the wall in like a second and a half.
Yeah.
He got a single out of it because it just bounced right back to the left fielder. And he had to, I mean, that ball had to be 110 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah. And talk about what the Angels put up on the scoreboard or on the video board. That was great. Talk about that.
They put fun facts about each player on the board, and they put for Jonah, Jonah Heim has one daughter and missed a great opportunity to name her Anna, because then her name would have been Anaheim. So that's pretty clever. The scoreboard operator in Anaheim or LA or wherever they are. Great job. That's pretty funny.
So yeah, Los Angeles, Anaheim Angels of Orange County, of California, of
Disney
the
World,
United States of America, of
Mighty Ducks. I don't know. They're everything.
Of
the universe,
of the Milky Way galaxy. Anyway,
of the non-binary universe, because they're in California, so they have to stick with all that stuff. So.
Oh, yep. So, yeah, that's a hell of a name right there. But yeah, so the only disappointment obviously was the Friday game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if we can't talk about that Friday game without talking about the Jacob deGrom-esqueness of Dane Dunning in that start.
Dude, that's the thing that his appearance or his start to that night, his first start of the year, first start of anybody outside of the original top 5 all year long, which has been an absolute blessing for the Rangers. Yeah. That was a big thing, was pitching health coming in. And obviously we were worried about DeGrom, and now that happened. But like I said on the last podcast, just pretend he's not there.
Yeah.
You know, this Rangers team isn't built to just have a fallout whenever one player goes down. And just because your ace goes down, sure, it'd be great to have his 100 mile an hour nasty and his 90 mile an hour slider going up there, but he's not there right now. He can't be available, and you have pieces that you can use in his place. And Dunning, his pitch count, you know, that he had to be on a pitch count, but he went 5 innings, 5 shutout innings, I think 2 hits.
Yep. And I mean, he was dominant. Everything
they hit, put in play. I think they got one ball that looked like it was solid contact, and it was a fly out to the fly swatting left field. It was weird Friday. I mentioned
it was a weird game.
Any ball that looked like it was, you know, well connected. And Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia were 2 specifically that I recall from the game that had 2 that were really connected. And it looked like they would at least go to the wall, and it just died out there.
Yep.
So, but anyways, Dane Dunning had the ending of the game really overshadowed how well he pitched. And
and then we can't. Yeah, we also can't miss talking about Eovaldi, second straight shutout. No, almost complete game shut. I mean, the dude went another 8 shutout innings against the Angels. And of course, when he left, or actually, no, he was going to come back in the 9th, I believe. We talked about this, just looking at his body language and the way that Bochy and Maddox were talking to him. And then the Rangers put up 7 runs in the 9th inning, and they decided, maybe we don't need him to come out and pitch at the bottom of the 9th. But that's 17 straight innings, I believe.
It's at least 17
of shutout baseball. I think it's longer than that, if I remember right. But
to go back to the third game, I'd have to go look that up.
He is dominating right now.
He is. I mean, and he was another health concern.
Yeah,
coming in, and that's why he didn't get a huge contract, whatnot. But he's proving right now that, hey, he's ready to go, and he's ready to step up in the void of said Jacob deGrom. And he's kind of taken that leadership role. And I mentioned earlier in the year that he's the guy that if he kind of wrangles up the pitching staff, if somebody's working a bullpen and there's nobody that's doing anything on their own, if there's people with free time, that they're over there watching and just watching the guy do his bullpen session, that kind of, those little type things in the clubhouse are what these guys bring. But when you go out there and lead by example, as Jacob deGrom did, it wasn't like he was blowing guys away. He only had 5 strikeouts.
Yeah.
But he does blow guys away a lot. He's got a high 90s fastball with movement. His splitter's nasty, his slider's nasty. And when it all comes together, as it has obviously for the last 2 games, he's untouchable, as he has been the last 2 games.
And the worst 2 pitchers of the week were John Gray and Martin Perez. Our two returning pitchers, and they just had a bad game, and the Rangers still won one of those games. So
and with Martin today, his streak of at least 6 innings or more came to an end today. 36 straight, though.
36 straight, yeah.
They say that all good things must end or whatever, And
the Rangers still won the game. So
they did win the game in large fashion. Thanks to
they had his back.
Yes, they did. And then Leody Tavares, he's hitting 300 now after his 4 for 5 day. I'm telling y'all, this is the Leody. I've been preaching it. I preached it when he was well, let's just say it's sucking. And also his first couple go around, but this is a guy that can do special things.
And also today it was nice to see a guy who's been struggling, Josh Smith, get on the board with a homer.
Yeah,
because I'll tell you what, the way Duran's playing, Smith is not going to get a lot of playing time.
Well, then I'm glad you brought that up because they brought him in
because of Jankowski.
Because of Jankowski. Pregame, it looks like a hamstring tweak.
Yep.
We don't know how long he's going to be down, so that's going to. I mean, it might be a super minor thing, and it was precautionary or whatever. But if he goes down, then that actually somebody's job got saved, because when Corey Seager and they said that in 7 to 10 days he should be returning. Now, is he going to go down to make a rehab stint after 7 to 10 days, or is he going to be doing a rehab stint? For a couple of games prior to that? I don't know, but he should be. They said he should be able to return within 7 to 10 days. But I'm glad you brought that up, because there is going to be a logjam on the roster with that. And Ezekiel Duran has played himself into being a regular one way or another.
Oh yeah.
And so,
I think that continues to spell the end for Brad Miller soon. I mean, he's only coming in right now as a late game replacement when they're up by 10 runs.
Yeah, and right now, I think what's funny is we just talked about Jankowski possibly hitting the IL because of a hamstring. Maybe, we don't know yet. It's obviously way too early to tell. We'll find out tomorrow for sure. But that kind of spared Josh Smith, I think. But then I also think this series was telling as far as Bubba Thompson goes, because you saw him struggle to get down a sack bunt on Friday. He's not getting on base to use what is his biggest strength, and that is his speed. No. He only has 1 steal all year, and he's
been caught twice, I believe.
Yeah, he's been caught, and that's rare.
Yeah.
So right now, his only value is playing defensively.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted one of them to get everyday at bats whenever Seager comes back, I think Bubba would have to go down, because then you can just immediately move Ezekiel Duran out to left field.
Yep.
Especially with Jankowski possibly not being here.
Correct.
But you would see a lot more. Well, we've seen plenty of Jankowski for good reason. He's been
playing great.
He's been playing really good. And then Zeke Duran, obviously, he hit another homer today. Yeah. The guy's been defensively, he's been really good.
Yeah.
So Zeke Duran's going to be there, but you had to see who goes down between those guys when Seager comes back. I think Bubba right now is the odd man out.
Well, and the Rangers have a problem that you love to see, and we haven't seen in a long time, is they have too many good players that they're going to have to send somebody down. But each one of those players are making it difficult on the Rangers. I mean, even Josh Smith, who's not doing great, is still making it a difficult decision. And the potential of Bubba makes that a difficult decision, even though he's not playing well right now. If he gets hot, he can just destroy the other team's game plan while he's on the bases. And then
we saw that last year.
Like I said, that's why I think Brad Miller might be DFA'd at some point, because he doesn't. I mean, with all the young guys adding so much, Brad Miller doesn't really have that much to add at this point.
Right, and we've said before, and I mean the Rangers have said it before. Bruce Bochy's here. He didn't come here to take a year off. That was last year. Last year was the year, okay, we brought in some guys, we're going to bring in some more next year, and we're going to load up, and we're going to go. And we're going to bring in a manager, and we're going to bring Mike Maddox back, which in turn brings Greg Maddox back. And we're going to keep oh my gosh, I feel so bad now. Forgetting his name. Third base coach.
Oh, Tony Beasley.
There we go. And we're going to keep Tony Beasley, and he's going to go back to his role.
Yeah.
This is just, I mean, and the catching coach, I'm really liking in that. And
Bobby Wilson is awesome.
Yeah, Bobby Wilson, former Ranger. Obviously doing some good things, because 2 catchers under his tutelage now are Gold Glove candidates, and that's Jose Trevino and Jonah Heim. So just because again, one guy goes down or 2 goes down, the Rangers are built to contend now, and we hope this continues for sure. But Friday, it still kind of bothers me because and even offensively, because they left 12 guys on base.
Yeah.
And they had 10 runners left on base through 5 innings. 10 through 5. That's not winning baseball.
No.
And it's just not, especially when you force the starter to throw over 100 pitches through 5. Grant Anderson was through 5, and he was toast. They had to get him out, and they did everything that they have been doing all year long. Really, they just didn't execute with runners on.
Well, and during the length of a season, there's going to be games where the bullpen just collapses.
It's going to happen.
I mean, the best teams in the country, have games where their bullpen collapses. Tampa Bay is going to have games where their bullpen is terrible.
What are they?
No, that's a good point. I don't know. Well, I hope so. I hope they do. Otherwise, they're going to win 130 games this year.
Golly,
man.
That's a good team right now, man.
I'll tell you what, the AL East. I'm kind of glad we're not in the AL East.
Yeah. Let's just focus here. That's a nightmare I don't even want to think about right now.
I don't want to face them this time if we make it to the playoffs in the first round.
No, right now, no. Obviously, it's a long season and things can change. But
I don't even know that we're going to make the playoffs.
God,
I mean, at this point, though, we're 6 weeks in. I'm starting to feel like this is a legitimate playoff contender.
Yeah. I mean, it's a playoff contender. Yeah. Absolutely. But
I don't know if they're a legitimate World Series contender, but they're a legitimate playoff contender.
That's what we've been talking about here over the last week or so is I believe they're contenders. Are they serious contenders right now? No, because they're bullpen. And Will Smith, God bless him, he's not a guy
come into every game and do it for you.
He can't, he's not a closer. He's just not. He's a guy
not at this age. Yeah.
Not at this age. And I mean, it's just really with his stuff, he just doesn't have the closer stuff. Yeah. 7th inning, 8th inning, maybe. Sure. Situationally, sure, absolutely, he's got value, but as a closer, no. And Bochy's been having a shuffle, and the guy that's throwing the a kink in the whole thing is really Jose Leclerc, and that's Dave Raymond at the end of the game when Leclerc. Sorry, Dave, but he was kind of talking up Leclerc a little bit, and so Leclerc's ERA right now is 3.27. You wouldn't believe that by how he's actually pitched. Well, it's because he's coming in with runners on. When he comes in with runners on, 9 times out of 10, those runners are scoring.
Yep.
That's where his disaster's coming. It's not in roles like today, even though right as Dave Raymond mentioned that he gave up a bomb, and it's the Rangers have a Jose Leclerc problem. And so that's another huge issue, because we got plenty of guys that can handle 6, 7, and 8. Jonathan Hernandez, he might be the next up at closer, but he can handle the 8th. I'm confident in Jonathan Hernandez. I'm confident in Will Smith in 7th, 8th.
Well, and I heard someone say, and I agree, that the problem with moving Jonathan there is you got to get to the 9th inning, and Jonathan is the perfect candidate so far to get you to the 9th inning, keeping the lead. And so if you move him, who are you going to put in his place that's going to do as good as he did in the 8th inning? So that's the problem we have right now. Yeah,
and you've got a guy that's less capable of coming into the 9th than Jonathan Hernandez is, because you have to have Jonathan Hernandez in that setup role.
Correct.
And that's worrisome. The Rangers, no doubt, are going to address that. I mean, but the problem with doing it right now is that other teams know that that's what you need.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones here talking about it.
No.
And they're also licking their lips and looking at your farm system.
Yeah.
And right now, trying to get a power arm or 2. I mean, I said at the beginning of the season, I think they're going to add 2 by the end of the year, power arms, and come out of the bullpen, late inning guys. And other teams are looking at your farm system right now and licking their chops, and they're going to be trying to job you right now.
Yep.
If you try to go out there and get you a reliever right now, and I'm sure they have been, let's pretend that
I'm sure they've made some phone calls.
Yeah, they've made some phone calls, and I'm sure they've gone, no, because other teams are like, okay, well, give us, overpay for this guy.
Give us Owen White and Evan Carter. You're like, no.
Yeah. Or 4 prospects. Like, give us Zach Kent and, the Viper, and then
Luis Angel Acuna.
Or Blaine Krim.
Yeah.
And, all 4 of those guys.
Max Acosta, someone that they have high hopes for.
And no, that's just not going to happen right now. So we're going to have to hope that Bruce Bochy, which to start the season, did a fantastic job because they didn't give up a run. And
the bullpen was great the first 10 days.
Yeah, first 10 days. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks, you could say.
Yeah.
And then after that, it really,
they got
you can
exposed.
only do so much. Yeah, they did. You can only do so much for so long.
Yeah, and teams figure it out, and they did.
Yes,
and we knew that was going to happen. So
yeah. I didn't think
it would be as ugly as it was when it happened, but we knew at some point they're going to give up some runs.
Yeah, and they've been doing it in bad fashion too. This is a series that the Rangers should have swept.
Yep.
One, because they again left 12 on base in the first game. They should have taken. Usually they're going to take advantage of those.
And they should have swept Arizona too.
They should have swept Arizona, and that first game just it eats at me because that's one that you lose. Because it was another close one. It wasn't one where the Rangers go out there and blow things up offensively, which they now have set a record.
Yeah,
most runs in a season up to this point since 1920 something. I can't remember the exact.
Well, they're averaging 7.5 runs a game, something like that.
It's
a ridiculous number.
It is, but it's the games that are the close ones, the ninth inning, and you got to have 3 outs. From a guy that's going to have to come in and pitch in a high stress situation. And I just clench myself when those situations happen. I did when Will Smith came in. Even though he's been one of our better relievers, I was just like, oh, I don't know here. But
they outscored the Angels 30-14 in the 3 games and wound up losing one of those games. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
that shouldn't happen.
It should not happen ever. So
no,
we're not shy about touting the offense. They're really good. Leody's again up to 300.
Yep,
and he's actually slugging. So he's only got 1 steal as well.
Yep.
But
which is weird. I figured that him and Bubba would have, 8 or 10 steals a month.
Yeah,
but
something
it's
like
not,
that.
Yeah, not working for him right now.
But Leody's he's actually slugging more than he's getting on first, which is hey. So when he goes through those, if you want to say droughts, where he's just getting singles or walking or whatever, hey, then he can go. So that area of his game is still to come, and that's what's most exciting.
You remember in 2019 when Joey Gallo had more home runs than singles?
Oh, yes.
For an entire major league season.
That's just bonkers. But
speaking of a guy that was slugging or nothing, that was old Joey, man.
Yeah. And see, and I was going to talk about Josh Young too.
Yes.
We're certainly happy with what he's done so far and what it's still potential. I mean, he hasn't been able to do it for a whole year. So we're seeing the potential of Josh Young right now. He's hitting 258.
And he's had some fantastic defensive plays on the field as well.
He had one today too.
He did.
And I was a little concerned about, I know we know he's going to hit. He's going to. Yeah. He's going to hit. He's going to be fine there. It was the defense. I wanted to see some because we hadn't seen as many games as we'd like of Josh Young in the minors, and I'm not worried about that part either. Now I'm just waiting for like a streak to come up, not a home run streak, but like a streak of Josh just doing everything right at the plate, where he's taking balls, going with the pitch, taking balls the other way, pulling when he has to do that, all that stuff. He can pull the ball. We know he can pull the ball. Both him and Marcus Semien, they can pull the ball with the best of them.
Yeah, Nate Lowe is off to a great start again.
I mean, it's a slow start average wise for him, but still he's seeing pitches. He's been a number 3 hitter. And if you look at his batting average with runners in scoring
position. That's what I was going to say. He's had clutch hits.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, they've all come in clutch times. Yep. And it's like 360 something.
Yeah.
It's way up there. It's around 350. I'll put it there.
Yeah.
And leave it there. But
it's amazing though. Yeah.
He's doing great, and that's making Adolis Garcia a lot better.
Well, and like you said earlier, they're having to pitch to Adolis because he's working walks. So this whole offense, I'll say that their offensive strategy under Bochy is seems to be working out real well. Yeah,
they're all sticking to the plan too, and they're seeing they're seeing what happens. They're seeing the runs come to fruition as they are right now.
You're just not seeing guys swing wildly like we have the last 3 years.
No,
because I remember in 2020, Leody, when he had that horrible start, he was literally swinging at every pitch. It could bounce 20 feet in front of the plate, and he was swinging at it.
It was like it was like he was seeing a wiffle ball out there.
Yeah, he had no idea it was like he had no idea what to do. I mean, that's what it looked like. And to see the improvement he's made, and like you said, we know he's capable of it. You've seen him in the minors. I've seen him in the minors. This is a guy that we know can hit around 300, and get on base and steal, 40, 50 bases a season. But he's just got to get moving on that base stealing. And you mentioned a minute ago something about the minor leagues. I'll just preview our minor league podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple of guys to talk about, one on the good, one on the bad. Jack Leiter had his best professional start this last week. We'll talk about that. And then Cole Winn, is it time to push the move on from him button? So
I wouldn't say move on, but it's certainly panic time as far
certainly
as
panic time. I think for Cole Winn, he is not. He is not looking good, and we'll get more into that. But we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue talking about the Texas Rangers, because this is the Ranger Report podcast. And we're back. All right, so let's look ahead. The Rangers continue their West Coast road trip. They have Seattle for 3 and Oakland for 4 coming up. Seattle is sneaky good, like we knew they would be. Seattle's not bad. Their pitching is good. I haven't looked. I need to look and see who they're facing. I'll look at that here in just a second. And then you got to think Oakland is, Oakland. They still haven't won 10 games yet this year.
They're bad.
I saw the best.
They're as bad as their stadium is right now.
The best graphic I saw on MLB, and I can't remember who it was, but it's one of the professionals that do rankings. And he did top tier teams, and he had like Tampa Bay, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Braves,
the
then he had second tier teams. The Rangers were in there, which they should be right now. Well, this was like a week ago. So the Rangers were in there,
before they swept the Yankees.
Before they swept the Yankees,
or not swept the Yankees,
or before they took 3 out of 4. Yeah, they had.
So the Rangers have swept the Astros and taken 3 or 4 from the Yankees, but they're still not getting national. That's
okay. Anyway. We like that. But then they had the third tier, which was the bad teams, and then he had one more category that just said Oakland. And it was like a big gap, and then Oakland was down at the bottom of his little graphic. If I can find it, I'll retweet it today, but it was hilarious.
Oh, God, that's
it had
funny.
Top tier, mid tier, low tier, and then Oakland.
Yeah,
and it was way down there.
And believe it or not, St. Louis is one of the worst teams in the league right now too. Yeah. So that's rare, but hey.
But Seattle's sitting at 17 and Seattle's sitting at 17 and 17. So they're not. It's not like they're bad. The Angels and Seattle are both, doing pretty good. And Houston is also sitting at 17 and 17. So the Rangers aren't running away with the division by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's probably going to be. I just see it being one way or the other, a tight AL West. All the way down.
Yeah.
Obviously other than Oakland have been a surprise. Yeah, other than Oakland.
But you never know. They seem to turn it around. I think they'll wind up winning 65 games, even though they're starting so badly.
Yeah.
They always find a way to start winning at some point during the season.
When all their young guys start getting more experience. And
they'll start winning some games.
Literally take their lumps.
But it's literally impossible to watch them right now. It is not entertaining.
No, it's essentially you're watching the best AAA team play Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you are. And that's what it looks like.
Believe it or not, yes. If you put the A's up against the best AAA team, the A's would win, obviously. It's just,
but I mean, it wouldn't be a blowout.
and Houston, both Seattle and Houston are at 500 right now.
Yep.
And the Rangers just won their 20th game in their 33rd ball game. It's good to say that. I mean,
it is good to say that.
And
because I don't think we won our 20th game until late May or early June last year.
I wonder if Marcus Semien had even hit a home run by then.
I don't think he had. I think it was the first 2 months of the season.
I don't think. Yeah, he had a really bad start to last year.
But tomorrow we got Gray facing off against Gilbert. Gilbert is 1-1 with I just had it up and now it's disappeared. 1-1 with a 4.01 ERA. He struck out 40 guys in 33 innings. So the Rangers got to watch. He is a sneaky good pitcher. And again, 4.01 is not a fantastic ERA, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
It's quality.
It's quality. Yeah, and he's 1-1, again, 107 whip. So he's doing pretty good. I mean, his career ERA is 3.80, and he's just, 0.2 points ahead of that. So he's about where he normally is. And his strikeouts have been more than innings pitched in his whole career. So Gilbert versus Gray. If Gray has a good start, the Rangers should win that one.
Yeah. Yeah, you would imagine. And it's a pitcher's park.
Yep.
Which is only going to help him even more because he, coming off a however many years pitching in Colorado.
Yeah.
So
he knows about a pitcher's park.
Yeah, so he likes pitchers. He likes places like Seattle.
Yeah, like our minor league guest last week who loved Amarillo.
Yeah, Justin Foskey
loved Amarillo.
I love Amarillo. We asked him about his favorite moments, and he said, "Oh, every time we went to Amarillo."
I love Amarillo, man. You can bunt it over the fence in Amarillo.
Yeah, man, you probably could. Somebody could, but yeah, go ahead.
But the question on Tuesday for me is, and I wanted to talk about this run, which Andrew Heaney is going to show up? The one that broke Nolan Ryan's record, or the one that has given up a whole lot of runs in a short amount of innings?
Yeah, you see, he's 2-2 with a 5.52 ERA.
Yep.
Those 2 wins were outstanding games. Those 2 losses, outstandingly bad games. And so when it seems like he pitches well most of the time, and when he has a bad game, he has a bad game.
Exactly.
And that's why you see the ERA balloon right there. So that statistic, I don't want to say it's an anomaly, and it doesn't say how well Heaney's pitched this year, because it really doesn't. I think he's done better than a 5.52.
No,
ERA.
he has. Yeah, he has.
It's just those 2 bad ball games that he had.
Yep.
And there was one that he actually started out bad and then was able to fight back and keep it going.
I was going to say, the fortunate thing is he hasn't had a back-to-back bad start. So hopefully he had a bad one his last time out. So hopefully that means he'll come back around in this one. But on the road, I mean, he had that really bad start at home.
Mm-hmm.
So on the road, it'll be interesting to see how he does in Seattle.
Again in the pitcher's park, but he's also, the Rangers hitting wise are going to have to face George Kirby in that game too.
Yeah.
So if Heaney's on, you could see a pitching battle there, a pitching. Why am I forgetting words today?
I don't know. It's Sunday. It happens.
Anyways, I must be tired. Wait, I should be refreshed. But anyways,
but we're not.
Yeah, I just mentioned Kirby. He's got a career WHIP 1.16.
Yeah. Yep.
Career ERA of 3.33.
Yeah.
And 31 starts, 167 and 2/3 innings, and 159 strikeouts. So he doesn't blow you away, but he's pretty effective.
And it doesn't
he's a former first-round pick.
That's right. And it doesn't get easier on Wednesday facing Luis Castillo, who has a 2.38 ERA on the season so far.
So the Rangers are going to face some pitching, for sure.
Yeah, and we don't know who's pitching on Wednesday. I'm guessing it'll be Dane Dunning again, but that hasn't been announced. So I'm guessing Dunning gets Wednesday again.
Yeah, I'd imagine, especially since he just got built up again.
Yeah.
He got built up a little further with was it almost 90 pitches?
Yeah, so I think Dunning probably gets that start on Wednesday against Castellanos. So that'll be Castillo. I'm sorry. So that'll be a tough one. Castillo with a 2.38 ERA on the year, 0.91 WHIP. So he's been probably the best pitcher for Seattle so far.
Oh yeah, and Kirby's been right behind him.
Been right behind him.
They've got. I mean, the Mariners are good, y'all. Let's go ahead and say it.
They're
good.
Well, I predicted that they might win second in the division.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah, we did before the season. I had them second Houston. Possibly, but it just depends on, I also didn't expect the Rangers to have 20 wins by May 7th.
Me neither. And could have been more.
Yeah.
But hey,
that's the thing if you think about it.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, and
they have 20 wins, and they could have 24 or 25.
They gave away quite a few. And
they gave away a few.
If ifs, ands, and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
That is awesomely true.
Put that in your quote.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, put that in your quote vault.
Quote vault. Oh, that will be in my quote vault. Trust me.
Just DM me.
I just made a note. The timestamp on that one. All right. This is the Ranger Report podcast. So the Rangers have that. Then Oakland, like we said, 3 out of 4 would be acceptable. 4 out of 4 would be better, but 3 out of 4 would be acceptable.
And it's easy to say 3 out of 4 is unacceptable. They should sweep them. Well, it's baseball.
It's baseball. So, every once in a while, every team, even the bad ones, are a Major League Baseball team.
Should the Rangers sweep them talent-wise? Sure.
Yes.
However, this is baseball, and somebody has a bad game for the Rangers. Somebody has a great game, or a couple guys have
the bats go silent and can't get any hits, and they lose 1-0. Something like that.
A pitcher goes out there and execute. I mean, it's baseball. Yeah. So 3 or 4, not 3 or 4.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
and that would make us a great winning road trick. 2 out of 3 in Seattle, 3 out of 4 in Oakland, and you'd finish with only 3 losses on a 10-game road trip. So 7-3 would be a pretty good road trip.
West road trip too, of all
which
road
stinks
trips,
because all the games are 8:40 if they're
all the games are up when the drugs start getting slung and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Bad things at night start happening, and when I'm in my bed sucking my thumb with my little sleepy night and my nightie, nighty hat and my little nighty, and when the bad stuff's going on, that's when the Rangers are out west.
That's a visual people
what
probably
did I
want
just
now.
What did I just?
You know, I could put a little hat on you in the video when I edit it in post, and give you a little beanie to hold on to when you bring your hand up. So we'll see.
Make a shirt out of it and put it in the shop.
We'll see. Speaking of that, I think I'm going to make a shirt off of a Sandler quote today as we wrap this up here today. Sandler said something that was great, and he was all proud of himself. So
of course he was.
So I think I'm going to make him. I think I'm going to make him a shirt. They were talking about before the ninth inning today, or the eighth inning. Which one did the Rangers score so many runs in? It was several innings. I can't remember. I think it was the eighth. But anyway,
I think is what you're thinking.
Yeah, but before the eighth, Matt Hicks said they need to score a few, and they got one. And Jared said, "Well, you got to score one before you can score two." And then he said, "You got to get two before you get a few." He goes, "Oh, that's good right there. I need to remember that." He goes, "Man, that was so good. You got to score two before you score a few." So I wrote it down, and I think I might make a shirt and give it to him next time I go to the ballpark.
He gets a free Ranger Report shirt courtesy of himself.
I think I'm just going to make up just one for him, and order it, and then give it to him at the ballpark. So
and ask him if he's wearing any Agua de Jo.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Or better yet, ask Hicksy. Since we talked about that.
Yeah, that's right. We did. We did. All right, this is.
Hey, you wearing that cologne your wife gave you? Your wife, or that
he did not like it. He did not like it.
No, he did. She didn't.
She didn't like it. That's right. She didn't like it. So, all right, guys, this is the Ranger Report podcast again. Fans First Sports Network, Dallas Sports Nation, Walton's, just growing. I mean, we always say this at the end of every show, but I want to keep saying it because it's true. Like every week we break records on numbers for downloads of podcasts. You guys are sharing it. You guys are spreading the love. And we're getting to the point where, I almost feel like we got to do this seriously now and not joke around. We actually got to do, actual research before we do the podcast.
I have to stop sucking my thumb
and wearing your nightcap on top of your head. Yeah. So no, but seriously, I mean, obviously you guys are enjoying what we do and we love doing it. And you guys are, we're getting comments, we're getting, views on YouTube, we're getting lots of downloads, we're making a little bit of money now thanks to you guys. So remember,
money that goes straight back into the podcast.
Money that goes straight back into the show for equipment and for me to cover games and for CJ to cover games, and money that goes back into the podcast to make it better, so that it sounds better, looks better, feels better, and so that you can sleep with your nightcap easier at night.
I feel good. I'm wearing my Frisco hat and my Ranger Report shirt.
And I got my Frisco championship hat.
Hey,
and my Ranger Report hat.
We went backwards. Frisco.
You can get
Ranger
these.
Report.
Yeah, you can get these at therangerreport.com/shop.
I wanted to wear my other hats, but I didn't have my clean Ranger shirt, my Ranger Report shirt. So
yeah,
I didn't.
That works.
That red, white, and blue hat, y'all. Yeah, is fire.
I think I'm going to order myself one because I don't have one of those yet. So
yeah, you're the guy that.
I don't have one. I made it and I don't have it yet. So yeah, and I don't have it. So. All right, guys, I think that'll wrap it up for us. Be sure to tune in to our minor league podcast every Thursday. We will be talking to a player like we do every Thursday. Not sure who yet. We've got several on the hook. We don't know which one's coming up yet. And then, of course,
like I said on our last minor league report, because we had to go so fast when it was just me and you, that maybe we won't get a guest and we'll actually be able to fully go, no, we want a guest each time. We're trying to get a guest each time.
That's one of the points of the minor league podcast is to bring you guys interviews about guys you want to hear. And be sure to send us a tweet or on Facebook. Tell us who you want us to get and we'll reach out and try to get that.
Chev, believe it or not, hasn't even given us a suggestion. I can't believe it.
I know, man. I know. And
instead, he just keeps vouching on Twitter to get JP Martinez.
Yeah, I've noticed that he just wants. JP is tearing it up. So
he is.
But we can talk about that on the minor league podcast as well coming up. So that Cole Wynn, Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker, who doesn't belong in single A, obviously, because
Mason Englert again.
Yeah, Mason Englert again is ripping it up.
If y'all are on Twitter and y'all saw what Englert did the other day, when he got the strikeout with the bases loaded against the Cardinals and pumping his fist and getting fired up and cussing. I know he cussed. I read his lips.
Oh yeah, I saw it too. Yeah, but you know what, man? Good for him. Like I said,
proud of you, Mason.
We wanted him to come back, but we also wanted him to succeed, and I'm happy you're seeing him succeed and not coming back in the major league level, because we saw the stuff and we knew he had what it took to succeed.
Back when he was at Down East,
there was no room for him here was the problem, and so he's gone somewhere where there's room for him, and he is thriving.
Yes, sir, and it's so good to see. And right after we mentioned him too,
after. But yeah,
good on you, Mason. Good on you, buddy.
All right, so coming up on Thursday, we'll talk about him. We'll talk about Wynn. We'll talk about Leiter. We'll talk about Rocker. We'll dig a little deeper into Double A and High A, just since their seasons are really getting going now. And I've been able to watch a little bit because they've been playing on the road where there's actually cameras. So I've been watching a little bit of Lowe.
That's the unfortunate is the A balls.
They don't have film. They don't have cameras at home.
No, so we're kind of stuck on that, but. We're doing our best. Believe me.
Yep.
I'm digging really hard into those low A or the A ball teams. So I had a lot to say last week or this last minor league episode, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try to really dive into the numbers and who to look out for after, because there's been about a month of the season now, so we can finally start looking at trends and things like that in the minor league. So
and look at guys that just flat out guys we that were highly touted coming in. So
we're looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. And thanks again to Walton's Everything But the Meat. If you haven't bought Walton seasoning yet, you're missing out because it is delicious.
Oh yeah, I did. I made the best burger. I texted Ben last Sunday after after this podcast because I was making burgers and I made the best burger I've ever made in my life. Yeah. And it had Walton's best burger seasoning on it. And I'm actually going to try the what is it, Baja or Mojo, the zesty Mojo seasoning. So I made some fajitas last night with the way I usually do it, and then the next weekend
you're gonna add that to it
with that Mojo seasoning from Walton's and see what we got there, because I tried it in what did I try it in? And it's just regular hamburger meat with burritos, and it was pretty tangy. I mean, I think I put too much in there, but it's it'll last you because you don't have to put much of it in there.
No, you don't. It's delicious.
Good. It's good.
All right, so that will do it for us, guys. We will see you next week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Leave a like and leave comments on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. That button's over there somewhere. So subscribe to that button down over there, and we will talk to you guys on Thursday. Yeah, it's one. I don't know which direction it is. It's one of them.
Oh, deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.